Welcome to the Meetings Podcast, the meeting organizer's podcast source for what's new in the meetings and events industry. Meetings Podcast is a conversation with a variety of voices that looks at events, meetings, and media. Meetings Podcast is sponsored by IMEX America, America's worldwide exhibition for incentive travel, meetings, and events.
Hey, podcast listeners, this is Mike. Today's show is brought to you, of course, by IMEX America, but also we'd like to thank AV for Planners. And, of course, full disclosure, I am an investor and founder in AV for Planners. Most of you who listen to the show know that already. But just wanted to be a quick reminder. What AV for Planners does, AV for Planners takes your upcoming meeting or conference 3 AV bids or proposals and gives you an easy-to-read, one-page comparative evaluation. It's all you need to negotiate and to make sure you have the correct pricing and equipment and labor for your conference audiovisual. Behind that one-page evaluation is some more pages, but that you only need the one page. But behind that is a bunch of pages that support, and they're easy to read, materials in every section of the evaluation on why we gave that score to that particular company. If you're still unhappy when it's over, not unhappy with us, but if you're unhappy with, well, if you could be unhappy with us too, but if you're unhappy with the evaluation and your AV bids, we can bring in a fourth AV company and try and get you a better price and get you what you need. So check out avforplanners.com. We have a new website. Check it out and to get more information for the best pricing for audiovisual and the confidence you're getting the right equipment and labor for any size meeting or event. Okay, let's get into the show. I had a nice conversation with Kiki Italian. She's an old friend of mine. If you are into social media and events, you will know who she is, but she's usually doing the interviewing, so it was kind of fun to turn the tables on her. So let's get right into it, and I will be back afterwards to fill in any gaps or anything else. Make sure you always can email me at meetingspodcast@gmail.com. So I'll see you after the show.
Okay, welcome back to the Meetings Podcast. This is Mike McCallan from Grass Shack Events and Media and AV for Planners. I have on the call my friend Kiki. Hi, Kiki.
Hi.
Thank you so much for speaking with me. I'm very excited about today, getting to interview you a little bit.
I'm very excited too. We can have a competition to see who's more excited.
Yes.
I bet I win.
Yes.
I bet I win.
Yes, and you are the supreme interviewer. I just saw something go through somewhere on one of these social media things that you are speaking somewhere, or you're moderating, or you're speaking. What are you doing?
Oh my gosh! Well, I'm always doing something, but I'm doing both coming up. On the 15th, I'll be speaking in New Orleans about why weird is better. And which we could get into that later. Weird is better, And then at the end of the month, I am moderating a panel that has to do with analytics and all kinds of juicy stuff to do with metrics and such.
Oh my God! How exciting is that?
Yes, very.
So this podcast will probably go out after you are, maybe not, but after you have spoke. So that's sad. And what in New Orleans? What is the conference?
It's the Grant Managers Network. Grant Managers Network.
How fun! What is that?
It's an organization for grant managers.
How funny!
Yeah, well, there's an association for everything,
right?
And so, they have a group of chapter leaders that are getting together for a luncheon, and they want me to come in and talk to them about a leadership topic. And why weird is better is just the sort of thing to shake up a bunch of grant managers, I'm thinking. So there you go.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to read a quick little bio. Kiki Italian is the founder and CEO of Amplified Growth, a DC-based social media consultancy specializing in social media for associations and nonprofits, and CMO for startup app developer Cannonball Projects. Kiki is a moderator and is the moderator of a popular association chat that has been running weekly for over 7 years now, hosted on the Blab platform. She runs a social media for C-suite program working with executives who want to stay marketable and improve their understanding of social media for businesses and taking their online personal brand to the next level. Kiki also serves as a faculty for Media Bistro's online courses in social media. Her latest keynote, Why Weird is Better, which we just talked about, shares lessons with leaders on how they can improve products and programs by adding a little weird and managing working groups differently so they have more successful results. When I said weird, I felt like I said weird.
You did. It was totally weird. Which is good.
That's what I get now, yeah. That's so fun. All right, so let's start out with your favorite quote.
My favorite quote, well, in keeping with the theme, I had to, of course, choose something that was a little bit weird. And so, yesterday's weirdness is tomorrow's reason why. I'll let that sink in. This is by Hunter S. Thompson. Yesterday's weirdness is tomorrow's reason why. Yeah, deep thoughts. Deep thoughts.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And why do you like this? Why do you like it?
I like it because I think that it's very true. It's very appropriate. I mean, it also sounds really good, which is the hallmark of any really great quote, right? It just sounds cool and kind of deep. But if you think about it, looking at weird or weirdness, sure, yeah. When they suggested that the Earth wasn't the center of the universe, that surely was weird. And yet it is true. It's absolutely true. So yesterday's weirdness is tomorrow's reason why. I think that something that strikes you as odd or unfamiliar can totally rule your world the next day. Having a child is a good example.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought being a mom would be totally weird. It is kind of weird, but it's also totally my reason why. Yeah, it's my, reason I get up in the morning.
Right,
so.
right. That's awesome. So let's talk kind of how you got into the business that you're in. It sounds like you help a lot of people, but what is the Kiki path? How did you get to where you are now?
Yeah, I decided I wanted to be an association executive when I was 5, and I said no one ever. Yeah, no, I totally did not. I wanted to be a mermaid when I was 5, and obviously that didn't.
What halted that?
You hit the ceiling really early, really young, and no upward mobility for mermaids. So I actually wanted to be a lot of things growing up, and it all kind of plays into what I do now, naturally. Good. That's great that happened. But I decided that I wanted to be a journalist when I was in college, and that's what I would go into. And I focused in print media. And at the same time, I got really involved in creative writing and the English department there too. And so started doing slam poetry and was on 60 Minutes for competitive slam poetry that I was doing. Yeah, in Chicago back in, the 60 Minutes show aired in, I believe, early 2000, but which has been a little while ago. But
but that's so cool.
Yeah, it was kind of neat for a girl from little town Missouri. And I mean, I was on there for a heartbeat. Like, it was just a second, but it was cool. And I was performing, and that was really good. But I moved to the DC area and started working in associations. And automatically, this is at the very beginning, before social media really hit. Facebook wasn't open, Twitter didn't exist, none of that, right? And so I was working with chapters and marketing. And as soon as I was able to start, moving from doing listservs and stuff like that to using social media with members, I found so many great ways to use it and loved it. And so, really, really quickly that became my thing and kind of became known for it, started talking about it, telling other people how to do it. And that became just my focus. And so eventually I ended up being asked by a consulting agency to come work for them. Their focus is associations and nonprofits, and they wanted me to come and do social media consulting for them. And I thought that was a dream job, and I jumped at it. And so yeah, the rest is history.
How fun.
Yeah.
So, slam poetry. I just saw some slam poetry. It's funny that you said that because I was walking by down in Oakland. I live in Oakland, California, and there was some lady screaming in this place. I went in, and she was really angry doing poetry.
She probably was. There are a lot of angry slam poets. And you know, what's funny is that I got out of it because it's sort of formulaic. I mean, once you've heard a few of them, once you've sat through like a slam poetry session, you can come away and you can feel really inspired and everything. But once you sat through one, you've kind of sat through them all, you know. I mean, most of the time there are outliers, you know. There are people who are really, really gifted and talented, and it's awesome. But you know, I just started. I mean, I don't want to be too crass, but like when you travel around the United States and you hear different poets in different regions, and there's at least one that all has like and I hate to say it, but an ode to my dick poem, you know, like it's basically that.
Yeah.
I heard that so many times, and you know, or the you know, Baptist revival preacher persona, and there's always, you know, there's that. And so, I mean, I could even, there is a way that we reach out every day. We reach out and wait. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's formulaic. And so I just kind of got sick of that. I kind of moved on. So.
Well, that's good. Because it sounds like, I don't know how much of, I don't know where you could go with slam poetry for your, you know, maybe, now did you teaching that to your daughter at all?
No, I'm not.
Okay, good. Good. That's very good parenting. So what do you do exactly as a social media, what do you do how do you consult for social media nowadays for associations? That's probably a kind of a loaded question that you could go on and on for, but kind of in a nutshell, what do you do for amplified growth?
Yeah, for amplified growth, it's basically it breaks down into 3 different areas. And one is social media strategy and implementation. So I help organizations to, and I work with for-profits too. I want to make sure that I mention that. But I, you know, create social media strategies based on, you know, the goals and the mission of the organization and, you know, the resources and what they have available to them. Mm-hmm. I help them with implementation. So in some cases, in the past, I've done some management of it. I really don't have the time to do that as much anymore, but I do try to help them with implementation sometimes to get their staff trained and get the ball rolling for them. The other piece that I do is I do training, and I have a program, Social Media for C-Suite, which is kind of like a coaching program, to be honest, where I meet one-on-one and also in small groups, depending on which part of the program somebody takes. And it's really aimed at the executive level, people who are maybe have a little gray on the top, you know, and they just want to make sure they don't need to know all the details. They just need to know what they need to know. They need to know what they need to know to manage people who are doing social media or to make good decisions for their businesses or organizations. And the other half of that is it helps them with their personal branding online. So that's kind of an interesting program, and it's a lot of fun because I get to meet a lot of great people that way. And then, of course, the third piece is speaking for Amplified Growth. And I go out and I present on social media topics all the time. So
very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest challenge you've encountered in your day-to-day?
In my day-to-day?
Well, I mean, you know, work-wise. I mean, you could share whatever you want to share, but... you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is
I heard the ironing problem this morning, but
I know the ironing problem. No, it's just that you know, in the day to day, honestly, and I think I'm starting to conquer it. But the hardest thing was to teach myself, and I say the hardest thing. It's not is to teach myself to constantly look at what I don't want to do and like to say no more, because there's a lot. You know, it's a blessing to have a lot of opportunities, because surely there have been times when there were not. so many opportunities. So, I don't ever want to complain really about being busy, because being busy is a blessing. However, I don't want to be busy, right? I want to be busy for something that I care about and that is productive, and that at the end of the day makes me feel like, hey, yeah, I like my life. I'm glad I was busy on this. It made me feel better. It paid me, and, that's good. So what I'm having...
that's really great advice, really.
Oh, my gosh.
Because especially with social media, I mean, it just can suck all your time.
It can totally suck all your time. Yeah. And, there's so many ways to fight that too. But, what I found is just I have to... some people meditate. I'm trying to pick up the meditation practice, but I do always keep my priorities front and center. I keep a list every day on Evernote that I go back to. It starts out with a checklist of like all the stuff that I must do. My focus is, foci for the day. And then underneath it, like notes of things that I run across that I either want to explore later, or questions I have that I don't have time to deal with at the time. And it's been awesome. I've been doing that for almost a year now, and it's really made a big, big difference.
That's awesome. I do meditate every morning.
Oh, that's great.
And it's really helped. We just acquired a couple of puppies, though, so it's really kind of racked into my meditation time because they need attention, much like children, sort of. Yeah. But it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And that's so. When was the moment that you knew you made the right decision in your career? Was there like an aha moment?
I guess not, because I can't think of one.
That's great. So it's still going to happen. So you have that to look forward to.
I mean, I know. It was more like a slow rolling boil. Like it kind of like I got this. It was like I got busy, and I was enjoying the process, and got so busy, as a matter of fact, that I didn't realize that along the way I'd moved from maybe I'll try having my own business to, oh my God, I can't, like, this is it. I'm all in. I don't want anything else. And I guess maybe the aha moment, if there was kind of one, was when I was first approached by someone who had a job offer for a regular gig, regular 9-to-5 thing. And they want me to come in for it. And I said, you know what? I don't think so. I'm kind of happy where I am. And
that's great.
Yeah, it was
that might be your aha moment right there.
I guess it was. Yeah. I never really thought about it like that, but yeah.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. So take us through what you do. So if someone wanted to work with you, do you have, and I know didn't you write a book too a while back?
I did. I've written a couple, but they're really like manuals, and so I'm kind of embarrassed about them. I'm working on one right now that I think is going to be really good. But the ones that I have that are out, one was Twitter for Business, which that doesn't get outdated quickly. But
it's very that's really great for people to have. I mean, that probably all goes into your C-suite program, right? I mean, that's how you first started probably doing it, saying, hey.
Yeah. Well, Facebook, I had two, so Facebook for Business and Twitter for Business. And I put those out, and, but they're outdated at this point. However, some of the basic principles are still the same. Mm-hmm. And then I because I teach like the Media Bistro online courses and all that kind of stuff in social media, I'm constantly updating and having to stay on top of stuff so that I don't, get outdated. So that's actually been really good. But I think that the writing thing, I thought for a long time, well, what do I really have to say that's very important? And it's a sad thing when you ask yourself that, and the answer is, I don't know. I don't know if there is anything. But I realized, like, I decided, I ended up, I'm writing this article series for a blog, and I'm doing like all these different things. And so there was a lot of writing that I had to do this year. And so I decided that I'd join this group where we meet by phone. And it's me and 4 other women and a writing coach. And all we have writing prompts, and we write. And for like an hour and a half every week, there's this thing where that's what I do. That's all I do is I do these writing prompts with this group. And the first time we met, it was kind of like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen when I get the first writing prompt? I haven't tried to do anything creative like this, writing like this, for a long time. And she gave it to us, and I took off. And I mean, there was so much that wanted to come out, so much stuff, and good stuff, and I found out that there is a book in me, and it's good. And I think it'll help people. So I'm excited about it. And that's actually how Why Weird is Better came about, because of this research I was doing. And I started writing about it and realizing, wow, I can really help people apply this to what they do for a living. And I think it can also make their lives better. So pretty cool.
So tell me, so what's this group then? How did you find it? Did you put it together, or is it who is this?
No, this is a group that I found through. I found it's Radiant Media Labs, and Radiant Media Labs with Deborah Ager, and I found her through an online, of course, Facebook group that I belong to that is owned by another person, another woman who owns her own business that's all about branding. And it was just a happenstance kind of thing. I saw that she had this thing going out, and this group that was formed.
Excuse me.
And yeah, and I thought, I'm going to be writing. I need to probably invest a little bit into taking time and making sure that I do it.
So
time.
great.
Yeah. Well, time's your scarcest resource, so if you put your energy there, if you dedicate some time to something, then,
it's really important, especially for writing. I had a group of writers that we started, and we were called the Professional Bull Writers Association. And
how'd you get that name?
We just kind of came up with it because we drank beer when we did our writing thing. And it was myself and a guy who actually became a writer. He was a associate producer for meetings, and then another guy who is a good friend of mine is Aaron Heister, who is an event producer. And they both moved away. Speaking of weird, Peter Fulford, who's a creative writer, moved up to Portland, and then Aaron moved to New Mexico. So we stopped meeting. We used to meet in San Francisco once a month. And just like you, do you do once a week?
I do once a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. But anyway, I miss that so much. It's funny when you started to say that, I was like, wow, we could do this. I never even thought we could do it, but we could do it on any of these, online.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that's
And
awesome.
I mean, it's so cool because this is like even by phone. So for me, it's very weird because you're like calling in.
Oh, yeah. It's by phone. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And so you're not even looking at it, because one of the women is very like, she has a flip phone. Like she's not online. And she is.
She writes on a computer though, right? Does she write with a pencil and
Oh, we all write longhand. No, we all write
Do you
longhand.
really?
You really do. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. Because the connection between what you do physically when you're writing and your brain and how you're processing information and stuff, that, it's beneficial to do it by longhand. And so, I mean, it's interesting. And you want to know something? Like the first time I did it, I was surprised that like after, it wasn't even 2 minutes and my hand was cramping. I was like, oh my God, because I just don't write in longhand very much. Well, I do now, I guess, but I didn't.
So it's the pen to paper, which is the feeling. Huh, interesting. All right, so let's back up a little bit. So tell me a little bit, so if someone wanted to work with you, kind of go into detail about, I guess you have several things you do, but pick the one that you want to. You could talk about all of them, actually. Yeah. So if you wanted somebody to call you and work with you, what are you looking for?
Well, you want to know something? I am really good about, like, I'm really, really happy with social media strategies or campaigns, things that have a start and a finish. The social media management stuff, like I had mentioned before, where, I can, for one client, I can go in and monitor how his team is doing and like give advice about things that they can do to improve their social media as time goes on. But I really like going in and sort of doing the investigation into what you would call like a social media audit, where you go in and you see, okay, where is all your stuff? What's happening with it? What's your workflow? What's your staff doing with it? How do they get content? That all of that. And then finding out what the competitors are doing and seeing, okay, so in this landscape, how is everything playing out? And then creating a strategy, and even better if it's built around, like if I can, do a campaign too. And I'd like the social media campaigns around events and stuff like that. That's super fun. So
cool. And important.
And very important, yeah. And, a lot of times these are the big launching pads for all kinds of products or programs that associations are announcing. So there's a lot of fun stuff to happen around there. And now, and we talk about this all the time, but it's like, whether it's, you coming in doing a podcast or like live streaming live from the show. It's just, there's so many cool things you can do now with social media and technology to make events even better. And I really dig that. I think that's fun. So yeah, so that's one thing. If an organization, like if somebody thinks that, they're looking for something where it's like, I need somebody who can, tie all the pieces together and kind of present me with a strategy or a campaign that we can run. I love being a part of that whole process, and I can do that. And I love being able to like bring in people I like to work with too, and to say, yeah, this Mike McCallan guy, he's a good guy for podcasts. You should bring him in.
Yeah, that's great. I like to hear that.
Yeah.
But that's interesting, and it is so important because people, in the past, I guess they just throw the youngest person in the room.
Oh, I know.
And it's like, it's such an important strategy. I guess people are getting more and more, much smarter about it nowadays than they were in the past. But it is still a lot of companies just throw, and they don't do anything really, which is sad. Yeah,
it's surprising. And I actually thought for a long time, not a long time, but at first, when I started my business, I didn't have a ton of clients, and I was worried. And I thought, maybe people just don't buy social media consulting. Like maybe that's just not a thing that people do, that organizations do. And I worked with some, and I still do work with some for-profit and small businesses and stuff like that, in helping their teams out. And in the meantime, something happened in the association industry where I think that more and more people started understanding that they can't throw just the youngest intern at it, that they probably need someone to at least create the overarching campaign. And I also figured out something as a business person that I really am not always looking to target, like, I don't say target like I'm shooting somebody, but I shouldn't always look at association executives as being the primary person who's going to come to me for my services, because most often my stuff, is wrapped up in a bigger marketing or PR thing. So I started working with other consultants. I started working with PR agencies, and worked with Epic PR, worked with Scott Oster Associates, worked with all these different people. And then they would bring me in for the social media piece of a bigger project. And I found out that was actually where some of those projects were more likely to come in, is, working with other consultants. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is. I know when I started my company, my production company, I was surprised that they were all marketing people that I was working with. I never worked with the event planners.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's not how you think that it would make sense. Like it's strange. But once I realized that, then my conversations changed between me and who I had assumed to be previously competitors. I always thought like, oh, well, a PR or a marketing firm are probably vying for the same types of all the social media jobs that I'd be looking for. And in a way, but they need to have that skill filled in a lot of cases. In a lot of cases, they might have everything else taken care of, but they really don't want to do the social media piece, or they're not particularly good at that. And when they know that I'm willing to work with them, then they can bring me in. And so that was eye-opening for me. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a few questions kind of about things that Kiki does. Basically, just to try and figure out, how successful people do things. Maybe you have some sort of nuggets or some sort of things that others can emulate. Everyone wants to be like Kiki. So take us through a typical, do you have any like typical day? Like, do you have any morning rituals? I was talking about, like, I do the meditation stuff, but like food, exercise, or regular reading on the web. Like, what are some sites that you might go to every day? So
oh my gosh, I do.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I did not grow up with an amazing amount of routine. So I actually am supercharged by routine. Like, morning routine is sacred to me. And I am my absolute best, when I basically do the same things every morning. And even if I'm traveling, like, I try to do as much of that routine as I possibly can. And so, I wake up early. I'm an early riser, and I exercise every day, every single day.
And I was going to say, you look great because you...
Thanks. I've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, you've lost a ton of weight.
I have. Great. I lost a lot of weight, and thanks.
And how did you do that? That's from the daily exercise? Or?
Yes, it is, sir. Yes, sir.
And what do you do?
It is daily exercise. I run, and every other day I do kettlebells, and now I've started adding push-ups because I'm really lousy with upper body push-up stuff. Nice. And so my goal this year is to get a stronger upper body and everything. And also I just signed up to do a half marathon, so my runs are going to get excruciatingly long. But anyway, I run every other day, and have one long run a week. And then the days in between the runs, I do my kettlebell routine.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what else do you do?
I make the coffee. I put the lunches together, which sounds mundane. However, that is kind of like, while I'm doing it, I'm thinking about how much I'm loving my family. Like, I'm sort of packing lunch and loving them at the same time. It's weird.
That's great.
But yeah, it's
being
nice.
Present. It's great.
It is really nice. And then I walk the dog. I walk the dog in the morning. Actually, I walk the dog first, to be honest, because let's be really honest, that's what needs to happen. But yeah, I walk the dog in the morning, and that's how I kick everything off. And then, of course, we go through, like, everybody getting up and getting out the door and that stuff. I walk my daughter to the bus stop. The best part of my day, of every single day, is after I've dropped off my daughter at the bus stop, and the school bus has picked her up, and she's off on her way, and we've waved at each other, and I turn around and I walk back to the house. And as I'm walking back, that walk is so peaceful and awesome. I'm not on a computer. I am not talking to anyone. There's nothing, it's just me and the air around me, and like just silence and awesomeness. Well,
that's meditation, right there.
It's so great. It is such a great part of my day. And I always feel really thankful, because I'm walking back to a safe house. I'm paying my bills. My daughter's safe. It's all this stuff, and on a day like today right here, it's really nice outside. So, when the weather's beautiful, it just kind of, yeah, it's like the cherry on the top.
Yeah, that's great. So then do you have like any kind of sites that you go to every day when you sit down and?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I always open up my Evernote and make sure that I have my priorities listed and all of that stuff. And I have multiple multiple inboxes I have to keep track of. So I launch all those and everything. But the sites that I like to visit that are separate from sort of, communication stuff and productivity stuff is Product Hunt. I love Product Hunt because they have all kinds of new cool apps and sites and resources to check out. I love, love, love Product Hunt.
I've never heard of that. That's great.
Oh my gosh, you're going to fall in love with it. Oh, go. As soon as we get off the phone.
Oh, really? How funny.
Yeah.
And it's producthunt.com is what it is?
Product Hunt, yeah.
How fun. Okay. Thank you.
Gosh, yes. Product Hunt is awesome. And I've been getting really into Medium too, because I love the writing that people are posting there. And I think that it's a really great tool for sharing your message. And I have a plan for using Medium eventually, but I haven't started posting anything there. And once I have my website relaunched in early April, then I'm going to start posting more.
And Medium's like a blogging sort of.
Yeah, they pull in blogs and stuff from everywhere, but it's just super easy to share. Everybody's connected socially there, and it's good. It's really that seems to be the place if you're trying to share content that is the sort of thing that you'd post in a blog. Like I see a lot of bloggers where I really like their blogs, but I haven't checked them out for a while, and they're also they're cross posting over to Medium. And I'm running into their stuff on Medium. And so it's kind of, it's a good place to post your stuff for
Very
sure.
Cool. Yeah. And I've been trying to do that with just the podcast. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I've been putting them up.
Oh, yeah.
Up there and kind of the, a little synopsis of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what else? Is that your favorite ones?
Yeah, those are pretty much my favorite. I mean, I hate to sound boring. I mean, I always pull up Sprout Social because, I have, a number of different things that I'm tracking. And so, I have to see what's happening with all of that.
What is that? What is Sprout?
Sprout Social is it's kind of like an amped up Hootsuite sort of, but it has reports built in, and you can have multiple, for different clients, you can have all of their social media stuff separated into different areas so that you can take a quick look and see what's happening with all of their stuff.
Very cool. Very cool. So my next question was going to be, what do you want to be as a kid? What did you want to be? And you already said you wanted to be a mermaid. So I'm going to go past that one, if that's okay. What book is on your Kindle or next to your bed right now?
Right. Okay. That's a really good question. Right now I am re-listening to the Firestarter Sessions by Danielle Laporte. And I read through it before. I have the hard copy of the book, but then, I've discovered that when I'm running lately, I kind of like to zone out and listen to business books.
Oh, that's good.
So her thing is kind of woo-woo, but it is very business oriented and how you can apply, some stuff to your business. So I like to keep, I'm enjoying that right now.
Do you have a book that you like to give others? Is there a book that when somebody says, I need a book, do you have one that you always give or recommend?
Well, yeah, for most people, yes, I do. And it's one that was given to me, and it's amazing how much I come to think about it and use it and apply it. But it's a book by Stephen Johnson called Where Good Ideas Come From. And it's he has a TED Talk, and so if people don't want to read the whole book, they can kind of get the concept, from looking at his TED Talk. And his name is Stephen Johnson. And anyway, it's really, really good because he talks about how ideas, they're not these eureka moments. Like innovation is not really, everyone expects it to be like eureka,
right.
The big discovery. But it's actually a bunch of things that all kind of combine, and conversations, and and it feeds into kind of the work that I'm doing right now with the Why Weird is Better, because it turns out that when you extend yourself and you try new things and you get out of your comfort zone and you talk to new people and you explore, you're actually opening yourself up to different opportunities, not just statistically, because you're going to meet other people and they're going to say things that might resonate with you, or might spark new ideas, or might build on ideas you already had, but also because you're actually improving your cognitive ability. So, and he doesn't talk about that, but I talk about that. And so what he's saying, though, everything about where good ideas come from historically, what they've seen is that it's usually when people they've traveled or they've met a lot of other people and they've had these conversations and they're building on these ideas. It's a bunch of things that evolve to a really good idea. So it's a good book, and I think that it's inspirational for people who are like, I'm not creative, or why haven't I become a millionaire because I found my big idea or something. And no. You just have to, I think that you put one foot in front of the other. You have your routine, you have the stuff that works, and you just try to keep learning and exposing yourself to new ideas. And then eventually you can build that stuff up, and you might get lucky.
Yeah. Awesome. So, do you have any podcasts you love to listen to? Do you listen to podcasts?
I do. Well, I liked the unmarketing one that Scott Stratton was doing for a long time, but I haven't listened to it lately because time. And
he always was so angry all the time. It got kind of like, I liked listening to it too, because I had seen him speak a couple times, and I liked that he was kind of no nonsense, but then it kind of got
old. Yeah, it's like I don't need someone to be angry in your face or thinking other people are stupid all the time. Like I'm a kind of happy person, and I like it like that.
Yeah, me too. And actually, I met him in person. I went up to say hi and how much I liked it, and he kind of was kind of a dick. So I was kind of like, well, okay, that's too bad. Yeah. But you never know what's going through with what he was going through right then.
Well, what do you think about Tim Ferriss? Because Tim Ferriss, he's fascinating to me, but he definitely geeks out on like the physical fitness, testing himself and the supplements and all of that kind of stuff. And I don't go that far down that path, but I do like the way that he goes about testing things. And I don't know. I think he's fascinating. I think there's a reason he's unmarried, because he probably drives whoever. He's like always challenging himself. And I can imagine that would be hard, right? To be somebody who's doing that. But he's fascinating. And I think that when, a lot of times when I hear his stuff that he puts out, it's pretty interesting. I mean, he asks a lot of good questions, and so I enjoy listening to him. I get his 5-bullet Friday emails, and you can look up 5-bullet Friday, and you should subscribe to that, because he just puts out, it's really short, but it's like 5 things that, like, what he's listening to, or what he's thinking about, a quote that he's really into for that week or whatever, and a neat resource or blog that he read. And it's cool because, I've stumbled across some bands that I like because of it. And I've read a couple articles I like because of it. There's usually one nugget I can get from that's useful to me.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you have a favorite? Do you have any more podcasts, or was that the last one?
No, those are pretty much. I mean, I listen to the Tim Ferriss, stuff that he puts out pretty often.
When you run, do you listen to podcasts? Do you listen to music? What do you listen to when you run?
I used to listen to music all the time, and now I'm listening to the business books.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite documentary or movie that you really love?
That's hard. There's so many good ones out there.
It is one of those ones that's kind of, you think about it, because I was this morning, because I go to like a spin class in the mornings a lot of the time, and I was thinking about that movie Breaking Away. Do you ever see that with the guys, the Cutters? It's really old. It's way before your time. But
I don't think it's before my time. But
you remember that? They were riding their bikes, and the one guy wanted to be a French guy. Anyway, it's a really great movie. If you get a chance to watch it, it's called Breaking Away. And they wear the shirts that say Cutters. They just say Cutters because they cut class, I guess. That was the thing. But they were in a bike race, and these other guys were all in their fancy bike stuff, Anyway, it's a good movie. You should watch it. Breaking Away. It's old, though.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was a question to you that I answered. I apologize.
Yeah, no. I'm just thinking about it. It's interesting. I don't know. I mean, there's so many good ones. There's I like the old one, like the Cosmos and stuff like that. I love that kind of thing. I really love science documentaries. But there's so many good ones that are out there. I feel like I watched a bunch about the porn industry. It's kind of like it's sad and depressing, but yeah.
Totally.
So I don't know.
I asked somebody yesterday, and she was she's very young, and she said, "Oh, I watched this movie called Die Hard," and she was talking about it, and I thought, that's so funny. That's such an old movie, older, but she's very young, and it was funny to hear her say Die Hard. That was her favorite movie because she had seen it.
Well, favorite movie.
You were thinking documentary, huh?
Yeah, I was thinking documentary. Favorite movie, Blue Velvet by David Lynch. I love that so much and watched it a million times. I love anything pretty much by David Lynch. I think he's amazing. And Guillermo del Toro, his work is not, sometimes his movies are more beautiful visually than they are, good with story. But the stories are oftentimes almost like a tragic fairy tale.
Yeah, what was that one that he did? That one with the his first breakout one, maybe. What was that one? It was really fantastic.
Devil's Backbone.
Oh, I don't know.
Devil's Backbone was really good, and it's oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's suspenseful. It's beautiful. It's tragic. Yeah. So I really like. David Lynch, Guillermo del Toro, that kind of stuff. I like good film.
Yeah, cool. So now I got a couple of final questions. What's the best advice you ever received?
Don't clean the fry vats too well, or else you'll have to keep cleaning them. Yeah.
And who gave you that advice?
Some is from my 2 weeks spent working at McDonald's when I was a kid. And when I started, they said they put me on the fry vat, the first to clean it at the end of, the day. And I started scrubbing and I was like, God, this is just so gross and nasty. And, why, it seems like it hasn't been cleaned for so long. And somebody came to the side and they said, don't do too good of a job, because if you do too good of a job, they're going to put you on it every day.
Oh, jeez. That's so funny.
Yeah. And
that's why you worked there for 2 weeks?
Yeah. Well, that and, the uniform. You see me, No, I mean, but.
That's great.
But, no, there were a number of reasons, but, yeah, the fry vat. That was just terrible. But it's really good advice, because if you don't want to get stuck doing something, you don't want to be the best person at it, right? I mean, but I guess the lesson is that you need to focus your energy on the things that you want to do more of. And there you have it.
Great. I read an Inc. magazine, I think, or something, article about a guy who, or maybe it was in New York or something, but he went and worked at McDonald's to kind of just does. He went and did a bunch of like menial kind of jobs and then wrote about them. And he said that he was working the fryer making burgers, and they went in the first day, and then him and the other guy who was working it, they were working it together. They were counting how many burgers they were making to kind of see if they could break, their burger record each day. Mm-hmm. And the manager told them to stop doing that, and they're not allowed to do that. And he was just, why? He goes, well, you're just not allowed to do something like that. It's like, and he said that was the one thing that was fun, and they just pulled it from them. It's like a soul killing job.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, not to say if anyone listening is working at McDonald's. I mean, to each his own. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so what's working for you right now? Do you have a new app? Well, obviously the exercise program's working. Do you have a work hack or a time saver or something?
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite apps that I started using that I'm so happy for now that we're approaching tax season, or we're in tax season actually, is Mile IQ. Mile IQ is so fantastic because I hated trying to track my mileage and all of that kind of stuff. And I always dreaded, I would turn it in and I try to account for the places that I would go. Especially if I had a client where I knew that I was going there regularly, and I tried to match that up with, and I tried the notebook in the car and all this stuff, and none of it seemed to work. And Mile IQ tracks every time you're in a car, any car, it tracks where you're going and on a map. And then when you're done, when you arrive there, that's like a segment, right? And you can go back and with just slide to the left if it was for business, slide to the right if it's for personal, and very quickly assign the drives. And of course, the mileage is all accounted for. And then you can send it to yourself and download as an Excel spreadsheet. And I just, oh my God, that was amazing. So I love Mile IQ. I like Office Time, which is an app that I started using because I also hate trying to keep track of exactly how much time I'm spending on different projects. And I needed to get better at it. I don't have a lot of clients. I don't have a lot of projects where the clients come to me and they say, can you account for all the hours that you spent on a project? But I did have it come up at one time. And it was kind of hard to go back and look at my calendar and then figure out from that exactly how much time I'd spent doing it. And anyway, Office Time helps me with that because again, you can account for the time that you spend each day. It doesn't take that much time to do it, and then you can just send it, download it as an Excel spreadsheet, send it to someone if they ask. What I like about it is that I needed to do that anyway because I am trying to figure out how to delegate some of my tasks to give to some virtual assistants. And I needed to be able to go through and manage my day better, where I was like, okay, so how much time am I actually spending on scheduling and how all that kind of stuff. And
is it like a Google app, or is it what kind of app is it? Is it on your computer, or is it on a?
Yeah, you can have it. You can put it on your desktop or laptop, and you can it's also on your phone.
Oh, very cool.
So I like it on my phone because it seems to take a lot of space up on my computer. So it seemed to slow things down. So
very cool.
Anyway, yeah.
Do you have a favorite industry event that you like attending? And then do you have just a regular event that you love to go to, like music or something else that's just kind of the weird festival or something?
Well, that's a good question. I like ASA Annual because it is all of the association peeps that come together in one spot. And it used to be I used to think of it as sort of a reunion, and it is kind of, but I also really like it because it's a great place to learn, and it's a great place to, for me to sort of generate business too, and remind people that I'm around and that kind of thing. But I think I'm getting better about going to that stuff and making the most of it, better than I used to be. And then then I guess for fun that doesn't have to do just with business and things like that. I don't know. I don't know that I have something I have to go to every year. I mean, I know that back when, like, I've run into you at the stuff that has to do with podcasting, and they've changed it from Blog World to everything.
Right.
So I liked that, but I kind of miss the old Blog World actually.
Yeah, me too.
So
yeah, I haven't been. The last one that I went to, I didn't really have a very good time. Now it's with like CES or something, or one of those NAB. When it's with some other big show in Vegas.
Yeah,
and it just kind of lost its pizzazz for me because you're just mixed in with all these other thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah, well, I remember when it was still Blog World, and I went and I was just overwhelmed by all of I kind of geeked out at the names that I recognized of the people that I really thought were just amazing, and getting to hang out with them and getting to know them and learn from them and all of that. And now it seems like I don't know. Now it seems like it's just a few of those people, and then I don't know. It's not as cool of a thing to go to. It didn't have as many opportunities the last time I went to it. So
yeah. Okay, so last question. If you woke up tomorrow morning and you could choose any profession and had the option to start completely over from scratch, what would you do? Mermaid.
Mermaid for the win. Mermaid. Wow. That's a really interesting question. Okay, so nothing that I'm doing right now. That's the rule?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something totally new.
It's a hard question. I have another one, too, if you want a different one.
Yeah, give me another one.
If you could talk to the high school senior you, what would you tell yourself?
Oh, my God. Priorities. You need priorities.
Yeah.
You need priorities. Oh my gosh. And also burn your journals. Burn, baby, burn your journals. Oh, those things.
Why? Just because they were...
I don't know which is more embarrassing. If you have a track record of making bad choices when you're a teenager and you have this record of them, or if you think that you're really good at writing when you're a teenager and you have a record of that. I don't know which is worse. I think maybe it's the bad writing. And looking back at my journals, it's so excruciating. It's so hard. It's like reading them. It's painful. Because I thought I was so deep. I remember hanging out the mall, when you could smoke at the mall, and hanging out, smoking my clove cigarettes because I was so cool. And with my journal, just hanging out all day, drinking coffee because it's the cheapest thing I could get on a regular basis. And smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, and analyzing everyone that I saw walking by, judging. Oh, silently judging.
Such a teenager kind of thing.
Oh, it was painful. I mean, somebody should have just slapped me. I don't know. I'd slap myself. Priorities. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kiki, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. How can people get a hold of you if they wanted to contact you for some work or just to say hi or whatever?
Oh, yeah. Well, they can find me, just plug in Kiki L'Italian into Google and it will tell you how to find me. They can find me on LinkedIn. They can find me at amplifiedgrowth.net because some loser has my .com and won't give it to me. And if you put in .com, you can connect to him on LinkedIn and go straight to his LinkedIn page and you can tell him, you just give it to Kiki. But anyway, amplifiedgrowth.net. And yeah, dckiki@gmail.com is the easiest email address I have. So
and then when is your association chat on Blab? That's really fun for someone to check out Blab anyway, if they just want to check out a really how to do Blab well. They can check out your when is that? When does that happen?
Weekly, Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, and it was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope to get you back on again in a little while to see what's going on in the Kiki world.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Thank you so much. This was fun.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kiki, and thank you to our sponsors, IMEX America and AV for Planners. If you need any information, please contact me at meetingspodcast@gmail.com. You can check out the IMEX website, imexamerica.com, and also avforplanners.com. Check those out. And if you have any comments or questions, please email me at meetingspodcast@gmail.com. Lastly, if you have a moment, or finally, not lastly, finally, if you have a moment, head over to iTunes and give the show a rating. It really helps the podcast get found by other event professionals and marketing professionals and all sorts of professionals and other people who are not professionals. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate your time. And I will see you, or you will hear me next time. Thank you. And I got a couple of puppies, and they are fighting behind me. So I'm going to go break that up. Please enjoy. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
We appreciate and thank you for listening to the Meetings Podcast. Please email with any questions or comments to meetingspodcast@gmail.com. Meetings Podcast is sponsored by IMEX America, America's worldwide exhibition for incentive travel, meetings, and events. The Meetings Podcast theme music is brought to you by the Delgado Brothers, which can be found at delgadobrothers.com.